Howdy folks, it's Nito with Archer's Paradox 2020 Outdoors Adventures. I'm at the 2016 National Rifle Association annual meetings and exhibits in Louisville, Kentucky. And I'm here with Chris Hodgdon of Hodgdon Powder fame. Chris, how you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Awesome. You know, I told your father last night, Bob, I said, well, Chris is up to bat next. And I thought, you know what, I was trying to think of what kind of interview to conduct, and I just thought, you know what, we're just a couple guys that enjoy the shooting sports and whatnot, and whatever comes to our head, we'll just talk about. So tell me something about your involvement with Hodgdon Powder. How did you get started?
Sure. I started out, actually I had another life before I joined the company.
Okay.
Back in the 80s, the company wasn't doing so well. That was back in the inflation and bank loans were like 22% back then, and you remember that. And,
right.
And so the company was in heavy debt at the time. We had a series of explosions and mishaps at our pirate egg, and so we had a lot of money invested in that. And so at that time, my dad really didn't see a future for me in the company.
Right.
So he encouraged me to do other things besides join the family business. So I did. I took his advice, and I went to school, and I got through school in 5 years at the University of Kansas, and I studied communications. And at that time, also I joined a radio station. I did several different formats of radio stations. So I worked my way really through college in radio, and I did some fun things like working at the local bars and things, and spinning records, and
really,
and it was good fun.
You were a DJ.
Really, I was.
What was your handle? So you started the rapping and the thing.
Yeah, right. And
who would have thought?
So I was a DJ. I did some producing. I did some news formats. I did some adult contemporary. Did some top 40. I did some rock. I did some jazz. So I really had a good career in radio broadcasting. I was on air for 8 years. And then I was in sales, radio sales, for 5 years, and really that was the hardest job I've ever done, because imagine selling air.
Correct.
You know, you can't feel it, you can't touch it.
Right.
Selling airtime on a radio station. So
what's it like? They say 5?
5 years.
No, somebody has to be exposed 5 times, right? Is that the old adage?
Well, really that or more with radio.
Yeah.
With radio. With print, it's a little less.
Right.
But that was the hardest thing for me, because you'd see these young girls walk into a business, you know,
right.
and these young ladies would just take the order. They're selling newspaper,
right,
and they would just take the order.
Right.
I had to actually go in and sell the business
and work for it.
Yeah.
Right.
So I learned a lot about retail, of course. I learned a lot about business and dealing with people, and it's really helped me in my career, especially on the communication side.
Right.
I learned all about the different kinds of media, everything from billboards to television. I learned how to sell against it and sell my media radio. It's a very intimate, targeted type media, and it still is today.
Right.
So I really enjoyed that. And back in 1993, I had an opportunity to join the family business. The business was doing better. This was after years of struggling, and my father, Bob Hodgdon, and my uncle, J.B. Hodgdon, they didn't take a paycheck for many years. And so at that time, the business was starting to get better. Things were changing. Our Pyrex plant was up and going well. There was a demand for Pyrex products, and our smokeless powders were growing definitely in popularity. So things started to get better, and I came on board, like I said, in 1993, full time. I worked on the dealer side, working with dealers, both direct and through distribution. Also, I worked. They needed someone in public relations, working with writers and editors, and so that's part of my job, and to this day I'm still doing that side of it. And generally working with all kinds of media, television and some radio and print and all these things that I do in public relations. I really enjoy what I'm doing. I take some customer service calls during the day, and a lot of us at Hodgdon Powder, we wear lots of hats. So I don't mind doing it, whatever needs to be done in the company, whether they need for the bathroom to be washed down, cleaned up, to taking a sales order, whatever it needs to be done, I'll do it, and that's the way we do it at Hodgdon Powder. We're all willing to work as a team to the ultimate goal in serving our customers.
Right.
So from 1993 until today, I just really enjoy. Every day is different at Hodgdon, and I really enjoy coming to work because it's also what we do at Hodgdon is that we're all shooters. We're all reloaders, and so we understand the passion.
Yeah,
what our customers
right.
like.
Yeah, the intimate knowledge of what they want, what they need.
Right. And what other job can you go to and to talk to fellow hunters and shooters and reloaders about their passion?
Right.
It's great.
Oh yes.
There's so many people who envy what we do because we get to talk to those who use this as a hobby.
Right.
And it is their passion. That's
right.
what they do when they get off work, off their real job. This is what they love to do, and we do it full time. We don't take it for granted.
No. So what do you think in the last? Obviously, your pre-career before Hodgdon was communications. So what do you think about the development of the internet versus, because you talked radio,
right.
some TV, and magazine print. Now
right.
the internet has just opened up.
Well, sure, and
social media.
Right, social media and the internet. Really, that's where it's all headed. Obviously,
right.
And especially we know that with the younger millennials and the younger demographics, which are our up and coming customers, and we understand that we're gearing to do more and more of that, to do more targeting to that side of our business. Yes. A lot of our the way it usually works with what we've found, and I think a lot of my cohorts in the industry understand, like we get them hooked a lot of times through 4-H or Boy Scouts, or all these other youth shooting groups.
Right.
We get them hooked at a young age, which is great, and then then they move off to college, and then a lot of them don't have time to shoot,
right,
because they're studying,
right,
and then they'll move off to get their first job and start their career up. Then they start their families up. So really, we a lot of us in the industry are concerned because we lose them between the time they graduate, say high school, and the time they have their families and they're well established in their jobs,
right,
to where they'll have time and the money to be able to disposable income to
right.
get back into it. So, and maybe in their early 30s, to where they can get back into it. So anyway, we're concerned about that, and the way really to reach those that age group is through the internet and through social media, and so that's becoming a lot more important to us, and we want to really stay focused on that and expose our brand and what we do through those media.
Right. Okay, we're going to switch up a little bit, talk a little bit about the Hodgdon Powder itself. I've been a reloader since 1988, so that's 26 years
right.
now. When did IMR come into the picture?
Well, IMR is of course a very, very strong brand. They have been in existence since really before 1900.
Right.
The DuPont family really, the DuPont family made their wealth by making black powder and then moving into the smokeless powder. They started IMR, which stands for Improved Military Rifle.
Okay.
IMR, and they made primarily IMR powders for the military, and so they've had a very strong brand throughout centuries, really. And so it came to be that we had an opportunity to acquire IMR in 2001, and so we moved forward and we decided that would be a great addition to the Hodgdon brand. It's what we do.
Right.
And so IMR is really known for rifle powders primarily, and old stalwarts, you know, the IMR 4350 and IMR 4895 are really the stalwarts of military surplus. As a matter of fact, my grandfather, it's ironic, my grandfather, when he first started the business, he bought 50,000 pounds of IMR 4895.
Right. Your dad told me that story.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's, and it's ironic story. How it's all turned,
full circle.
It's circled around until now that we have IMR. So it's a very proud and old brand, and we're so excited to have IMR. It's been a star for our company, and we always want to make sure that IMR is treated fairly, and IMR is definitely going to be around for the long run. And we really have continued to focus on IMR for rifle powders. And so we've pulled some of the, like 700X used to be an IMR shotgun powder.
Right.
We pulled it out of the IMR line and put it into the Hodgdon brand because it makes sense.
Right.
Because IMR really is known for, obviously, for rifle powders. So we have grown the IMR line to today, where we've added new technology with this Enduron line, which we're very excited about, to where you have your temperature and sensitivity, and you have our copper defouler in these new Enduron powders. So it's come a long ways since the early 1900s to where it is today, and will continue to have a very strong brand in our family of powders.
Awesome. And then, of course, you also have the black powder and the
right.
I don't call it pseudo, but the Pyrodex.
Right. A substitute.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the pellet. Let's talk about the pellets.
Right.
Mm-hmm. What's the backstory behind the pellet?
Well, the Pyrodex pellet is an interesting phenomena. It was it came about from an idea where the old warships, what they used to do is they used to put bags of powder. They put the shell in, of course,
right.
And then they put these huge bags of powder in
right.
behind them and close it up. And basically, they used those. They were undersized, the bags of powder, and they'd light that, and it would fully engulf around the powder and be able to push that huge projectile miles.
Right.
So we thought about, why not use that in a muzzleloader?
Scale it down. Right.
Scale it down. You have a hole through the center. You have the flame going through the center and around the outside because they're undersized.
Right.
Just like in a huge artillery naval gun. Right. Same concept. And so we thought, well, hey, why not look into that and think, why couldn't we use that for a muzzleloader? So we started compressing the powder and forming it, and trial after trial after trial, and we came up with this Pyrodex pellet. And it's on one side we put some black powder to aid in ignition, so that would go down towards your breech plug.
Right.
And so we did that, and we made it in different granular sizes. So, but the first one we started with was the 50 caliber, 50 grain. We knew at the time that was the most popular size, and so you could go different sizes, 50 or 100 grains, let's say. And you go 50 grains for your target load,
Right.
and then you go 100 grains for your hunter load. So,
Right.
so we started putting that in, the Pyrex pellets. We went around the country and we passed them on. We gave them to like rifle manufacturers. Try this. Tell us what you think. And it was an overwhelming success from the manufacturer side, and we thought, well, let's introduce it to the public. So we put them in the 100-pack boxes and in the little blister packs.
Right.
And some of them in our company were skeptical that this would ever work.
It was different.
Yeah, and so some were expecting it to do well, but we didn't have any idea of how well it was.
Oh, it was a huge success. It revolutionized.
It really did,
because of the advent of inlines.
Right.
It had been an inline
Right.
system.
And you know you've really hit a home run when you have the manufacturers designing their rifles around your
propellant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then when did I have a, oh my gosh, old Thompson Center contender.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Percussion. And of course I've had the inlines too. When did the introduction of the Magnum, the 350 grain, the 150 grain load come about?
Well,
because
yeah.
for years, if you're dropping, 80, 90, 100, 110 grains of triple F,
Right,
that was
right.
about the max.
Right.
After that, you just kept on pushing powder out the barrel. You
Right,
weren't
you're right. Yeah,
completely burned.
exactly. It wasn't very efficient.
Right.
So, well, the Magnum pellets came about. We decided, we could make a longer column to fill those gaps, and we made these Magnum pellets that were 60 grains. So a guy could use, 120, obviously.
Right.
And so those really we wanted to push the threshold a little more.
Right.
We wanted to get to that 2,000 foot second level.
Right.
And so we did very well with the Magnum pellets. But really, with the onset of the 777 now, wwhere we actually got rid of the carbon and the rotten egg smell, and so
The sulfur.
the sulfur really, there really is a great advantage, to the 777. So once we got the 777 on the market in 2000, we decided that the pellets were naturally going to be happening right after that. So the 777 pellets, once we got them on the market, it was such a big advantage over the Pyrex pellet in so many ways. A cleaner burning and a little bit more velocity exchange for that, and you don't have the rotten egg smell and all the advantages
Right.
that 777 powder gave you now is in a pellet form. And so the 777 pellets have really taken off in new heights. It's really our best pellet, best seller.
Bestseller, right.
But we also improved upon that with the IMR White Hot, and
Right.
it's an all-white pellet. And in my opinion, really, the White Hots have become, they're the most consistent ones. They really are, accuracy-wise, they are just top-notch, and increase the level of velocity also with those. So you have the good and the better and the best.
Right.
The IMR White Hots, but gosh, the pellets in general have been a godsend for us, and it's taken our company really in new heights, and it's been very exciting over the years to see the growth of that.
Right.
There's you can still go out and tailor that load with granular powder. You can still experiment and find that load, but really muzzleloaders of today, they want convenience.
Absolutely.
And so really the pellets are the ones where you're going to get the convenience.
Right. Not just convenience, but as hunters, by the very nature of muzzleloaders, it's a one-shot affair. However, you've reduced that reloading time now.
Oh my gosh,
which can make
yes.
the difference between a lost game or even, you know,
Right.
we as hunters know that on occasion you may not have the most optimum shot. You need a quick follow-up,
Right, right.
and the time saving of dropping 2 pellets down the barrel.
Oh gosh, it's been such a revolutionary thing there, and they're safe.
Yes.
They're easy. Of course, you're not going to spill them.
Right.
You know, all of us get buck fever.
Yeah.
You know, and you, and to get with granular powder in the past.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
that second shot, if you know you're gonna
Yeah.
spill it on the ground all
Right.
over the place.
Right.
So
Now you're undercharged.
yeah, that's right. And so for a quick, easy, safe, simple way to reload your muzzleloader, gosh, the pellets can't be beat.
Right. So now I'm gonna get my engineering mind is turning. So how did you? So it was 777 that actually kind of revolutionized getting beyond the 110, 120 grain. Let's say in a 50 cal.
Right.
Is it a faster burning composition?
Well, with 777, it's more energetic.
More energetic. So
It's about 15% more than
Okay.
Pyrodex.
Than Pyrodex.
By volume.
By volume.
So your 100 grain charge of Pyrodex is going to equal 115 grains
Okay.
of what no, the other way around. 100 grains of 777
Right.
equals 85 grains of Pyrodex.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Right. Interesting. You know, of all places I could have picked, I can't believe they got a shooting range up here.
Yeah,
training
that's-
center. So you all, you know, it's kind of it's fitting.
Well,
though.
it's in our element.
It's NRA element. Yeah, guys are shooting in the background here. Actually, it's a ultimate training munitions.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. Maybe
Yeah,
we'll
very
check that out
cool,
later
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see what else. I'm gonna edit all this out. So not that part. We're gonna,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
we'll put that in the blooper reel or whatever. So something I was asking your dad yesterday. You know, when I started reloading, my first center fire, 1988, was I'll never forget the rifle, 243 Winchester, Ruger M77 round top.
Oh, uh-huh.
And I think I bought a box of 20. I can't think of the make, but I thought, man, you know, I'm pulling the trigger, and you know, 26 years ago, what was a box of 20 factory loads? I can't even remember what.
Oh gosh.
Maybe eight, $10
Yeah.
for 20.
Yeah.
About.
Maybe $12 at the most.
Yeah. So then I started thinking, you know, I was thinking, wow, you know, this is gonna get expensive. You know, I was just getting out of college.
Yeah.
You know, starting a family and all that, and I thought, but I'm gonna look into this reloading. You know, and you know, even more so now today. You know, it's not a slight to the ammunition makers. I mean, you know, there's going to be people that don't have the time or the inclination or the wherewithal to even attempt reloading. You know, maybe they don't feel comfortable doing it.
Right.
But there's a whole range of hunters and shooters out there that like that challenge of tailoring their custom load to their rifle.
Well, you know, when I went to Africa last year, and what I really enjoyed about this time that I went was, yes, I developed all my loads and got them to fit. I took a 270 Model 70, 270 short mag Model 70 to Africa, and what I really enjoyed about it this time was the just seeing it all happen in front of me.
Right.
There's no other satisfaction than working through all your loads, working it up, and making sure that it's like all hand loaders, and making sure it's going to fit your rifle. It's the optimum performance
Right.
in your rifle. But just to see it all happen live and in front of you, and the satisfaction that you get from start to finish is so
It's a journey.
it's so
Fulfilling.
inside. Yeah,
Right.
it really is.
Right.
It really is.
Right.
That's right.
And it's also very therapeutic.
It is.
It is. I
It is.
talk to reloaders around. They're like, oh yeah. I mean, I go
Yeah.
down and it's my escape, so to speak.
That's right.
Because
That's right.
you are so focused, because you do have to be focused.
Right. Right.
You know, let's be honest here. Reloading can be very dangerous
Right.
if you don't know what you're doing.
Right. Right.
You know, but the reward, you know, it's a risk-reward thing. You know what you're doing.
Well, yeah.
You know, and the reward is just tremendous.
So long as you follow, obviously you're going to follow the rules and follow
Right.
the data.
Right.
It's that part of it. Once you do that, that part of it's very safe.
Yes,
And very
absolutely.
safe, and to work up your loads and everything. But I just, like you were saying, so fulfilling.
Right.
I couldn't find the words, but it's just so fantastic to see it all happen from the loading bench to the field and traveling thousands of miles overseas.
Right.
And standing, you know, in front of the animal and
Right.
and shooting and seeing the animal fall and just seeing it, it's just so satisfying.
Right. Right. And
It's
that
really
you
neat.
that you had an integral part.
That's right. That's
know,
exactly right.
You know,
That's
you
right.
you actually. I mean, you didn't, you know, make the powder per se, you know, from scratch,
Right.
from like saltpeter and
Right,
whatever,
right, right.
whatever black powder.
Right.
But you were integral in not just assembling the load, but the whole process of, okay, I'm going to look at my reloading book here. I'm going to start here. I'm going to increment and try
Right.
to find the sweet spot
Right.
to where you actually shot your load,
Right, right.
satisfied with the accuracy, full confidence.
Right. And you're out to the range and you practice and then when you get to Africa, you get out and you sight in your rifle and you know you're on and then going out into the field and seeing the beautiful scenery and taking
Right.
in God's creation,
Yes,
you know, and
absolutely.
and then seeing the animal and then stalking the animal and just it was really a neat experience.
Right.
It's a great experience. And you know, and I'm a deer hunter too, and so I find it just as satisfying too.
Oh, absolutely.
To hunt at home, both with my muzzle loader and with my rifle. So
Right.
So and I same thing for bird hunting. I load a lot of my field loads too. So it's a really wonderful thing to enjoy your hobby, reloading and then seeing the end result.
Absolutely, absolutely. I got to the point where I was enjoying reloading so much. I was still single at the time, and my buddy and I, it was not a competition, but I got to the point where I was buying dies and components before I even bought the gun, the pistol,
The gun.
and the rifle. Oh yeah, it was an obsession. It was a gun of the month club, you know. And I would actually, you know, buy the dies, the components, and
Buying the
so-
dies and the components is a little cheaper than the gun itself.
Yeah. Oh, that's the true cart before the horse.
Yeah, that's
you know?
right, that's
it's like I'll
right,
get the
that's
cart,
good.
I'll get the horse later. You know. Yeah, it's been a fun journey. I mean, you know, it's just so we'll kind of switch gears here. So what do you foresee? Before we go to the future question, let's address the powder shortages that we've been seeing and how Hodgdon's been dealing with that. And your dad touched a little bit on it, but from your perspective.
Well, we definitely are doing a much better job with
Right.
with this year. We feel like our fill rates are much better this year. Our all the way through the system is a much better response. We're able to most of our powders, we're able to fill a lot of the voids there that have been really. It's been an 8-year struggle.
Right.
Within the past year, we've been able to really gear up and produce a lot of powders going out, and we feel like the distribution through our distributors and onto our dealers is much better than it has been in many years. And so a lot of the powders that have been hard to find are a little easier to find now. Not all of them, but I would say a good majority of our powders are available, with a few exceptions. The more popular ones, the powders that we bring in from Australia, like the Vargets of the world, the H4350s of the world, the Rotumbos, the H1000s of the world. Trail Boss, it is what it is.
Right.
And we can only get so much of that.
Well, you're at the mercy of
of a lot of factors.
It's out of your control.
It's logistics.
Logistics, right?
And so that is what it is. But the powders that the IMR powders, particularly most of the Winchester powders, and a good majority of the Hodgdon powders are still readily available.
They're on the shelves.
Right.
On the shelves.
Right.
Because I think your dad said, was it 3 times the demand at one point? That's tremendous.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I come from a manufacturing background and
Right.
engineering.
Right.
And, you know, to tell a company, hey, you're going to have to increase your capital to supply this 3 times demand, that's a hard sell.
Right.
Who's going to eat that much
Right.
capital to, you know, and I can fully empathize. That's a tough line to, you know.
Right. It really has been, and the demand is now to the place to where it's not so much. It's not the big demand that we've seen in the past.
Right.
We're able to turn around. Our fill rates are higher, like I said, and our our shipping windows are much shorter. So our customers are a lot more satisfied than they've been in a long time. Certain powders, such as Winchester 231, you have Varget, Clays, Trail Boss. Those powders are still in very, very high demand, and so we are trying to address those, and we're shipping more than we ever have. It's
Right.
just the demand on those certain powders is still pretty high.
Right.
And so that's why there's some shortages there. But for the most part, we are definitely filling the shelves finally again. And so now we have to do a little bit better, like I was talking before, selling. Instead of taking orders, we
Right.
have to do a little bit better job with selling them.
Right.
And pointing out the advantages over our brand X. So this is what we're having to do more of now, which is great. And it makes us better.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I guess to wrap it up, so what's your if you had to look into your Hodgdon powder crystal ball, what do you foresee in the, let's say, in the upcoming year, 5-year?
Well, I think the what our customers really demand from us is innovation.
Yes.
And we try to listen to our customers, and we do listen to our customers. And we address those niches out there. There's more niches to be filled. You know, a lot of people do say that there's too many powders, and how do I don't know what to do. I don't know which powders to buy or whatever. But we're doing a better job about educating those out there, and really there are a lot more niches to fill. And so we are all about innovation and excellence, and listening to our customers. And so we're going to continue to do that. And we have some exciting products coming for next year. I can't really tell you about them yet, but we are very excited about them. And come January next year, the whole world's going to know about them, and we're gonna have some more exciting news for everyone.
Awesome. Chris, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Nito.
All right.
Thank you.